The hustle mentality is failing you. It promises a life of busyness, but it can't promise a life of fulfillment. Eventually, you become aware of the potential to work your whole life, making no real progress, spinning your wheels, not moving any closer to your dreams. This is why the path to the unleashed life doesn't begin with doing things. Yes, action is important. Yes, you must start before you feel ready, but that effort will not be fruitful unless applied in the right context. So let's dive in. Welcome to Success Sundays with Harrison. I'm your host, Harrison Wilder. I'm a corporate strategist and entrepreneur with an executive MBA from the George Washington University. I've managed two multi-million-dollar companies, and I advise top-level executives from a variety of industries. In this show, you'll find practical insights that will help you succeed as a leader in today's business environment. If you're serious about developing your skills as an executive, this is the place for you. Enjoy today's episode. King David, famed ruler of the Hebrew people, once desired to bring the Ark of the Covenant from the house of Abinadab to Jerusalem, the capital of his kingdom. The Ark of the Covenant represented the presence of God, His glory, His goodness, His mercy, His judgment. Everything around the Ark was impacted by His presence. Obed-Edom, who held the Ark in his home for just 3 months, had experienced tremendous favor. He was blessed. The Bible says his whole household was blessed, and David desired to bring that experience, that same blessing of favor, into his home, in the capital city, and throughout his kingdom. So he got to work, right? He built a brand new cart, and he selected the most impressive oxen. He selected a day and gathered all of his strongest people, and then they set out to move the ark to Jerusalem. But David didn't realize that he was setting up a nightmare situation. They didn't get very far before the cart hit a few bumps on the road, and this cart that they had built and the Ark of the Covenant on top of it became unsteady. At this point, one of David's men, a guy named Uzzah, reached out his hand to steady the ark. And what happened next was completely unexpected. A bolt of lightning came out of the ark, struck Uzzah, and left him dead on the side of the road. You can imagine the panic that ensued. What was supposed to be a celebratory procession to Jerusalem, a demonstration of David's strength, an affirmation that God was on his side, was stopped dead in its tracks. Maybe you can relate to this story. Have you ever stepped out to do something that you felt that you were supposed to do? Have you ever responded to a desire in your heart by taking action only to see your efforts end in disaster? Was it gut-wrenchingly painful? Did it cause you to hesitate, to maybe reconsider even pursuing your dream? Well, David was completely shaken up. I mean, here's a guy who had devised battle plans, conquered cities, defeated his enemies, and won the favor of all of his countrymen. But when he put his efforts towards a seemingly simple task, he not only failed, but he lost a friend in the process. It was crushing for him. He went home to Jerusalem, and he didn't try again for 3 months. As David reflected on his defeat, he began to see where he had erred. David's hubris had led him to believe that he could accomplish his desire in his own strength. In fact, the name Uzzah, the name of the man who died, literally means strength. The whole story is an illustration of what it looks like to attempt to achieve your desire in your own strength. Now, don't quit on me here, because I understand that you must own your dream, right? That you can't wait around on God or someone else to do your dream for you. You and I both know people who fail to take action and never move forward toward their desires. But we also have to admit that we know people, often ourselves, who take massive action, work extremely hard, and don't experience fruit from all of their effort. And this story tells us why. In this story, David was a classic hustle guy. He built the cart, he hired the muscle, he charted the most direct route, and he literally attempted to pick up God and bring him along for the ride. Now contrast that with David's second attempt, when David finally decided to give it another shot. This time, David didn't build a fancy cart pulled by oxen. Rather, he took poles, inserted them into the ark, and had a certain family the Levite family, placed the poles on their shoulders and carry the ark to Jerusalem. Every 6 steps, they would stop, sacrifice one of the bulls, and celebrate with gratitude for their journey. There is significance in every aspect of how David went about this. First, he selected the Levites to carry the ark on their shoulders. The Levites were a special family because many years before, God had chosen them to play a role as priests. They represented the work of God among the Hebrew people. Their name actually means in harmony. When Uzzah studied the ark, he represented man attempting to carry God in his own strength. When the Levites carried the ark, they represented the work of God in harmony among men. Not only that, but God had already provided this model for how the ark was to be carried hundreds of years before, when Moses used to carry the ark through the wilderness. In David's first attempt, he was reinventing the wheel, hustling to get things done on his own without consulting how this had been done in the past. In his second attempt, he searched for the model. He synced up with a system that God had already blessed. But David didn't stop there. Every 6 steps, they sacrificed a bull, as if to say, we don't need these anymore. We're not doing this in our own strength. And he marked the journey with thanksgiving and gratitude for God, who was doing the work among them. Are you supposed to do something special with your life? Do you feel the weight of desire to bring a blessing to your family, to your business, to your community? Is it important to you that you live a life of significance? Is what you want to do and who you want to become trapped behind the limits of your own capacity? If that's you, I've got good news. You were never meant to carry all of this alone. The same God who placed the desires inside you is also going to do his work among you. He's going to carry it on his shoulders. He's going to bring his goodness and his favor into your life. He's going to display his glory through you. You're going to be so filled with joy and gratitude that you'll be like dancing like David did, with the biggest smile on your face the whole way to the finish line. But you're not going to do it in your own strength. It flies in the face of the order of creation that we talked about in a previous episode, which assumes that the divine is among us, that he's filling us with desire, causing us to see things, that he's empowering our words, giving us the ability to speak out our future, and he's providing the context for our work. Okay, let's get into this week's success challenge of the week. If you're like me, when you sit down and you think about a desire that you have, or you become aware of a problem in your life, your first thought is like, what do I need to do about this? And you start planning to take action. What if this week you could train yourself to have a different response? Before you jump into action, pause. Think about what it would be like to accomplish this in harmony with God, not just in your own strength. Consider saying a prayer that invites the divine into your situation, and then take a look at what he may already be doing in your situation. I love this verse. Cast your cares on him because he cares for you. If you have a question for me that I might be able to help you with in a future episode, post them down in the comments. We love to hear from you, and we like to create content that's super helpful and relevant for you. So put those down in the comments. My team will tee up those ideas for future episodes. Until then, have a great week, and I'll see you in the next episode. Well, I hope you enjoyed today's episode. You know, great businesses and great leaders are built using effective communication. For more, go to speakingschool.com, grab my Elite Business Success Toolkit for free just for trying out our Speaking School membership. That's speakingschool.com. See you next time.